I'm part of Season 2 Survivor Quality Dream Team. I also work as an assistant instructor for the Quest program on campus. And today I am here with Dylan, our sixth Castaway voted off. How you feeling today?
Better than it was yesterday, that's for sure.
So what type of preparation did you do to get ready for Survivor Bloomsburg? You know, mental, physical, or social strength?
Literally nothing. I know I went into the interview saying that I've seen like maybe clips every now and then of Survivor, and I kind of said that I would do some research, but I never have seen a single episode, so I was just kind of going off the feel.
When you first arrived on site for episode 1, what was your impression of all the other castaways? Did you have any pre-existing alliances before the game got started?
Yes, one of the biggest problems was that Brady is my roommate, and was my roommate last year, and so we were nervous about people getting the wrong idea about any sort of alliances and stuff. So literally the entire time we've never associated with each other. We tried distancing ourselves as much as possible, just because I didn't care for any sort of preconceived notions or anything like that. That's probably the biggest secret.
You found a clue to a hidden idol and went to look for it. Tell us about your adventure to find it, and do you feel that it was something your Python team was suspicious about?
Yeah, that was probably my biggest mistake I was only here for 2 episodes, but it was my biggest mistake because, one, I ran to the absolute wrong location and then sprinted to the right location, to which it was already gone by then. And although I wasn't really bummed about that, to be completely honest, I was actually just getting advantages and idols to keep them away from others. I never planned on using any of them. One for like the pre-episode, I got an advantage for that, and it was an extra vote, and I never planned to use it.
Tell us about the challenges in episode 1. Which ones were your favorite to either compete in or to watch?
Oh my god, I hadn't played Gaga in so long, and I was really excited for it, but so that was probably like a really cool start. But I loved the teamwork of the holding up the boards with hands, because that was probably the most teamwork oriented like game that we've had for the 2 episodes, because we all had to do the same thing besides the people on the ends, but that was just kind of how it worked. That just felt like we were all going through the same exact thing, and I'm glad that we won that one.
From episode 2, tell us about your experience with the Capture the Flag challenge. What are the highs and the lows?
The Capture the Flag was actually probably the one I performed best in, because I know I made a mistake at some point where I didn't notice my strap was where it should have been, so I felt very bad for that. But I figured out a strategy that was very Python snake-like, where I went behind everyone and would just take tags while they weren't paying attention, while they were focusing on other things, which they only called out like in the last 5 seconds of the entire game itself. So that was fun. I hope that helped out my teammates, but it was very hard to see, so I felt like I wasn't going to get actual credit for that. So.
Episode 2, tell us about the dual knockdown challenge and why you felt your team lost, even though they were on top the first few rounds.
Was that the polling? I think that was very funny because obviously I started off with a failure after previously, like immediately saying before that I would not win. I don't know why. I don't think there's really a reason why we lost. I mean, clearly it was just like some pairings were like, it was easier for some people to win than others for whatever reason it may be. There was definitely strategy involved. And it was just, when it came around to my second time, I obviously knew what I was doing. So a lot of people are also saying that it was probably the advantage came with knowing what to do. So maybe all the Gators understood what to do because they got quicker rounds, or they get to go back in sooner. So that could have been the advantage that they kind of got at that midway point.
If you replay any part of episodes 1 or 2 of the competition again, what would you do differently to yield a different result?
I wouldn't have gone after the community idol in episode 1, just because I felt bad for my teammates if they thought I was just like abandoning them. I really just wanted to keep it out of other people's hands, but at that point it wasn't worth it because it was just already gone.
About yourself by participating in Survivor Bloomsburg?
I learned that I am not a competitive person, and that this was not a game meant for me. When I mentioned to my teammates finally in episode 2 that I was a psych major, they probably thought that would mean I was like, oh, I'd be really good at manipulating people and making them think a certain way, but I was using it to keep our team together, or at least I wanted to keep a positive vibe. And part of me wants to imagine that did contribute to why we went so long without actually getting out. Of course, I wasn't the only one that would be doing anything like that. It was a whole team effort, but I was trying to keep people from talking behind their backs because I hate stuff like that, and it's just at a certain point it lost control, and the nature of the game show itself is to do those things. I think my critique of the show itself, not specifically what Bloomsburg is doing, is that it encourages negative behaviors. That's honestly, for lack of better words, it should be encouraged. So that's just how it is.
Do you have for everyone who is left in the game?
Don't be cruel and don't be cowardly. Like, I get that's the whole point of the game, as I kind of just said, but I don't think it's worth it. Even some of the people who were eliminated in episode 1, they were eliminated because they were acting nasty and disgusting in ways that was just not like them outside of the games. If I could tell them, I would say to not change yourself for the game, because then that's not you playing, that's just some sort of, it's just not you. And I feel like I would be able to take a victory if I was just playing this fake person. So I hope you guys don't do that.
Of the remaining players, who do you see as some of the ones that could go a long way in the game if they play their cards right?
Probably the people that have already played the game and been manipulating behind the scenes. I mean, even if I've been told if you look at actual Survivor games, it's those people that win the games. And at that point, I don't know who would win, because I mean, once you're called out on something, that completely changes everything, and I try not to think about it, because the one thing I was trying to do the whole time was to not doubt my teammates, so that was the last thing I was keeping track of, so it's beyond me.